Hello and welcome to Econ 1B. I'm going to do a quick review of Chapter 1 and we will go over that. So economics is essentially a study of scarce resources and how we manage these resources. Every time we make an economic decision, we are basically using economics. We are weighing the marginal benefit versus the cost. We're deciding on the margin. So it is a study of how we make decisions and how we interact with each other and how these interactions affect the whole economy. As an individual, we make certain decisions and that affects the bigger picture of the economy. So that's what economics is about. Macroeconomics is a study of the entire economy as a whole. We look at unemployment, we look at inflation, interest rates, and the tax policy, and so on, the monetary policy, fiscal policy. All of that is the macroeconomic study of that. And microeconomics is the study of individual behavior. That is, how do firms make decisions, how much to produce, what to produce, and so on, and for whom to produce. So any microeconomic decision we make affects the macroeconomy as a whole, okay? And whatever the microeconomic decisions affects the macroeconomy, and the macroeconomic decisions, the interest rates, affects our microeconomic decisions also. So think of the macroeconomy as a forest and the economics as the trees that make up the forest, basically. So we can use microeconomic analysis. Let me go back to the previous slide. Okay, we're good. So we use microeconomic analysis to understand markets and how the changes, and we can predict what changes will happen. So the microeconomic decision, if we all decide to go and buy an electric car, so that sends a signal for manufacturers to manufacture more of those, and that affects the macroeconomy if everybody decides something. So we can understand how the markets work and how we use this to decide how to spend our time. We make these decisions, and as workers we can decide how much to produce and how much to charge. These are the companies that will decide using microeconomic analysis. And of course we also evaluate public policies, how the government performs its role in the market economy. So every country has basic decisions to make: what to produce with our limited resources, how to produce these goods, and for whom to produce these goods. What to produce depends on what we want to buy. If everyone decides to buy the electric car, it sends a signal to the producers to produce more of those cars. So that is the what to produce. So basically our microeconomic decisions, what to produce. So prices are used as signals, and based on that, if the price keeps going higher and people are demanding more of that, what happens if everybody rushes to buy the same item? Then the price, obviously demand is greater, and then the price will go up. So the price is a signal to the manufacturers to produce more of those goods, the what to produce. How to produce, the manufacturers have to decide to produce these at the lowest possible cost. Obviously they're in there for making money or profit. And then for whom to produce, it depends on who is going to purchase this, who has the purchasing power, who has the money, who is willing to buy. So if we have like today our population is aging, we have more seniors, so the market will produce goods for the senior citizens. As more as 10,000 people are getting old every single day, turning 65, so with all the baby boomers getting old, so the market will decide to produce goods for the seniors. Or if the teenagers are increased, then you'll cater to that market. So for whom to produce is a choice that again, signals are there in the market, and that's how producers will produce for those people, that segment of the market. And now getting back to the basic problem we face, the fundamental problem of economics is scarcity. And scarcity is always, remember, relative to our wants. So if I am on an island and I'm the only one, let us say, and if you have a coconut tree and you have 10 coconuts and I need only 2, I don't face a problem of scarcity. My wants are limited, so I don't face a problem of scarcity. It is only relative to my wants. If I wanted 20 coconuts and I have 10, yes, I have a scarcity problem. So scarcity is lack of resources to satisfy all desired uses. Okay, so if I don't desire any goods, I don't face a problem of scarcity. So it's relative to the wants. And every time you face the problem of scarcity, you have an opportunity cost. Means you have to give up the next best thing, not the thing that you don't want, but the next best thing every time you choose an activity. So if you're listening to this, you're giving up TV time, going out, eating out, or doing something relaxing. So you're giving up the next best thing. But if I give you a choice either to listen to this lecture or to pet a poisonous snake, obviously it's not the next best choice. So it is always the next most desired good that you're giving up. That so it every time you make a decision, you're giving up something, and it's associated with every decision. So if we choose to produce bread with that flour, we cannot make pizza crust, obviously. So that is what opportunity cost is in simple terms. And we all need basic factors of production to produce goods and services. So going back to a pizza shop example, if you want to open a store, you need land, and land includes everything over, above, and underneath it: oil, water, minerals, airspace, everything. So you need land, obviously. The next thing, you need somebody to work in your store, so you need labor. And you need quality labor, educated labor force, because your productivity will be up. So it's a physical presence plus their skills, not somebody who does not know how to make pizza and wastes whole day time mixing the dough. So you need somebody who's skilled at it. So you need skilled labor. And obviously you need capital. In this case, don't confuse it with financial capital, but rather those are tools, to goods used to produce other goods and services. So that could be factories, machinery, and so on. So in our example of the pizza shop, you need something to produce those pizzas. You need an oven. So oven is your capital good there, because it is used to produce more pizzas. So that is what capital goods are. It is not money, but rather tools used to produce more goods. If you were a farmer, then your shovel would be your tool, your capital good. But today it's tractors and heavy machinery. That's your capital equipment, okay? And then finally, you need somebody to pool all these resources together: the land, the labor, and the capital. You have all these three, but nobody wants to run the business. So you need somebody who's an entrepreneur to pool all these and combine these in the most efficient way to produce new and improved products. So we have basically these four factors of production. So the production possibilities curve is a simple way of illustrating. Basically, it shows the different combination of goods that you can produce, a good A or good B. And it goes to show, basically, it's oversimplified. It shows that our resources are scarce. We have to make choice. And there is an opportunity cost incurred every time we make that choice. We have to give up something to get something. So we can either produce trucks or tanks. So if we produce if we are producing here at 5 trucks here, and then you can either produce 5 trucks or 5 tanks. You can't produce both. When you're producing 5 tanks, you're producing 0 of trucks. Okay. Now when you go back to 4, so you say I give up one of this. So what do I get? So we gave up 1 tank and we got 2 tanks. So opportunity cost is simply by giving by what you gave up divided by what you got. So that's how you can calculate the opportunity cost. So the curve goes outward. Basically, it shows that we incur, the more and more we give up of one good, we get less and less of the other good, because of the law of increasing opportunity costs. Because resources are not mobile. I mean, factor mobility is not there. So we have to give up more of good A to get more of good B, because the factors are not interchangeable. Okay. Okay, I went a slide 2 ahead. Okay. So in this slide, what basically the production possibilities curve shows us that these office buildings or housing. So any point on the curve is our preference. How much housing do we want versus how much office buildings do you want? So these are all efficient points. We are producing the maximum. It's a question of how much do you want of good A versus good B, office buildings versus housing. But when you're at point C, this means unemployment. That means we are producing somewhere inside. We're capable of producing all of this, but we are not producing all of this because we are underemploying our resources. So we are somewhere here in point C. And today with unemployment, that's what it is. We have a lot of unemployment and we are in a recession. We're not on this curve, but we're rather inside here, and we are capable of producing more. And so that's what unemployment means. So we are recession. So we have to push this outward and try to be on the curve so we can produce the maximum goods. And we cannot produce here at point A because we don't have the available resources. So we cannot produce this because point A we cannot, because with our existing resources we can be only here on this curve. Okay, so for point A we need either more land, more resources, more educated labor, more technology, or an entrepreneur who can combine resources in a new way. And that is economic growth basically. If we find more land or more skilled labor to produce more goods, or an entrepreneur who can combine it efficiently, then we are in the path to economic growth. But with given the existing resources, we cannot produce this. Okay, so just want to make sure that you understand that. So economic growth is simply finding more of our factors of production and moving outwards, and that is economic growth. Right now we are in unemployment. We are somewhere here inside the curve. Okay, so the objective is to be is economic growth. That is the goal of of any economy.